Neo-Confucianism. Neo-Confucianism is a Chinese philosophy influenced by Confucianism. It was an attempt to create a more rationalist, secular form of Confucianism. It rejected the more mystical and superstitious parts of Confucianism. Many Chinese dynasties followed the beliefs of this ideology. However, Neo-Confucianism was originally established by Zhu Zi in the 10th century. Neo-Confucianism beliefs came from Confucius, as well as Taoist and Buddhist values. This photo is Zhu Zi, the founder of Neo-Confucianism. Many dynasties followed the Neo-Confucianism. Specifically, the Tang and the Song dynasties valued this belief because they ruled the peak of this ideology's popularity. Many people used Neo-Confucianism because they believed that it was the correct way to rule a country. People appreciated its aspects of faith, harmony, and discipline. During the 10th and 12th centuries, Neo-Confucianism contrasted with all other ideologies. Neo-Confucianism emerged from the teachings of Confucius. Confucianism valued strict punishment and harsh cruelty. Neo-Confucianism had less threats and punishments involved, and incorporated faith and harmony. The Tang dynasty was the original empire to value Neo-Confucianism. This image shows the Neo-Confucius and Tang dynasties' territory during the 9th and 10th centuries. The Song dynasty used Neo-Confucianism after the Tang dynasty because its reign occurred after the collapse of the Tang dynasty. In the 10th and the 11th century, this map shows the Song dynasty during the Neo-Confucian rule. The social structure emphasized social order. In descending order are the 4 occupations of the society: the gentry scholars / warriors, farmers, artisans / craftsmen, and then merchants. Formed on physical relationships rather than the supernatural world like Confucianism. The rise of Neo-Confucianism brought back some of the doctrines that made women subservient to men. However, some of the changes made to the original Confucian doctrine aided women to become more independent in the Chinese society. The classic of filial piety, a text composed between 35 and 200 BC. It teaches a lesson of humility and how being humble beings brings peace and harmony. This artifact is believed to have inspired Neo-Confucianism. This is one of the 13 classics of the Neo-Confucian canon.
The political influence the philosophy had on China was that it caused emperors to follow the values of Neo-Confucianism and made codes based upon the teaching. Also, a late Tang emperor began a major persecution of all other religions, changing China from Buddhist to Neo-Confucian. Neo-Confucianism began in the middle of the 9th century and grew intellectually and socially throughout the 11th century in Song China. Many of the scholars and founders arose during the period of Great Divide in Tang China. Neo-Confucianism overtook Buddhism and created the Renaissance of the Song dynasty. Ideologies, Taoism, Buddhism, and obviously Confucianism, all followed Buddha and originated in Asia. Also, Taoism and Neo-Confucianism believe in the yin and yang concept of balance and equal. Confucianism and Neo-Confucianism share many of the same qualities, but Neo-Confucianism was developed as a revival to compete with Taoism and Buddhism. Neo-Confucianism incorporated concepts from Taoism and Buddhism, as well as creating a thorough spiritual system, unlike the original classic Confucianism. The four books were a piece of classic Neo-Confucian texts. The books illustrated the values and beliefs of Confucianism and Neo-Confucianism. The texts were chosen by a ruler in the Song dynasty, Zhao He, to serve as an overview of Confucian philosophies. Civil service examinations in the Ming and the Qing dynasties were based off of the four books.